Delegations from dozens of countries are heading to Colombia for climate talks. It's not the first time nations are gathering to talk about climate change, but this time they'll be looking to make progress in a way they've never been able to. CBC's science reporter Anand Ram joins me in the studio with the details on and tell us more about what makes these talks different.
Well, for one, they get to say the F word, and the F word, words actually, is fossil fuels. And, that's about as funny as I can make a story about countries coming together to talk about climate change. But people are genuinely excited about this one because what makes Santa Marta different, this conference, is that the countries gathering there, including Canada, will be able to discuss concrete ideas of getting away from fossil fuels as a fuel source. And while the science is clear that fossil fuels are the major driver of global warming, the usual United Nations process for figuring out how to solve climate change is not as clear-minded. We spoke with Sephora Berman, and she explained that best. She's with the Fossil Fuel Treaty Initiative.
That process is a consensus-based process. So 190 countries have to agree on every word that's decided in that process. So for decades, Saudi Arabia and other countries have ensured that there is no substantive conversation on fossil fuel phase-out. This conference in Santa Marta is in some ways a coalition of the willing.
Right, and these willing countries, there's about 60 of them, and they're led by Colombia and the Netherlands. They're gathering and they're talking with hundreds of civil service groups, NGOs, scientists, and indigenous voices, all without fear of being blocked or having to land on some sort of negotiated treaty or document where every word needs to be hammered out in the same way.
Interesting. Okay, and Canada is sending a delegation, and it will be the largest oil and gas producer there. And we've just seen the government allow another LNG pipeline expansion. So how does that square?
Yeah, it's kind of a dissonance to hear both these headlines. Canada sending a delegation to talk about moving away from fossil fuels, at the same time expanding LNG. And you know what? Ultimately, the people we spoke to, the experts we spoke to, say it's good to have oil and gas producers at this conference because they need a sort of to be part of the discussions. They need a reasonable pathway. And Colombia itself, it's hosting and it's struggling with the transition. The hope is to look for answers together, to be there in pursuit of the same goal while not ignoring the fact that many economies and budgets are tied to fossil fuels. So we'll see whether Canada learns something there and implements it as it heads towards net zero.
All right, Anand, thank you. The CBC's Anand Ram.